Hello and welcome to the KB Michelle Green podcast. We are so excited that you are here. Thank you for listening, and we hope that you have already joined in by subscribing to the KB Michelle Green podcast. In this podcast, we talk a little bit about everything, but mainly business and credit alongside finances on the side. So please listen, tell a friend, subscribe, and enjoy. Thank you for listening. In today's podcast, I would like to talk about credit. Credit. What about credit is so important for us to understand? The number one thing that we need to understand about credit is credit does not exist without a foundation. And that foundation is money. Money of all types of currencies and trades. Money of all types of exchanges. So when we think about money, do we really realize that not just the country that we live in is money exchange for a particular trade in different currencies, in different leaders' positions on our actual coins? So when I think about the United States of America and we look at the dollar bill, we look at the $5 bill, we look at the $10 bill, we look at the $20 bill, we look at the $100 bill, we look at the $1,000 bill. And some of you may have never really seen a $1,000 bill in person, and that is absolutely okay. However, when we think about the type of currency, we have to go to the foundation. Where did all of this begin? Well, long time ago, banks decided to get together and represent currency by the people who were leading the country. So who's leading your country, and what type of leader is on your money? When we consider credit, we consider how much money do we have. When we consider the leaders of that time, and how can the leaders that have passed on still be leading our country on our currency? It's the ideas and the visions that they had about the economy. It is the kind of leadership that they thought about each day of how the country should be ran successfully. So as we begin to think about credit, I want us to have a clear foundation in thoughts about the original state of currency, exchange, trade, anything that comes from the original state of being of money. So if I think about money and I think about its reasoning behind its original foundation, clearly there were people who existed long ago who had assets that were not exchangeable for cash. As a matter of fact, back in the day, nobody had any cash. It was all assets. And the more assets you had, the more exchange you could make. Or, in other words, everything was about being a business owner and trading off stuff. So if you were a sole proprietor, then you were the person that had some stuff as an individual. If you were a family, you may have been known as a business owner in what we call it today. And if you were someone who was pretty wealthy, you were considered to be what we call in this day and time an investor. So we want to consider, what type of person are we in exchanging money that we don't have for cash? In exchanging our assets that we don't have right now, possibly, and turning it into cash. And what about the assets that we do have or that we are trying to gain? How can we liquidate the asset and turn it into cash, and how can we turn the cash into an asset? When we think about this kind of cycle of a system, and we also take into the equation, what were the leaders that are on our currency currently thinking about when they were leading the country and when money and currency exchange and trade was going on? So as we go back into this mindset of the leaders that came way before us, long before, and we think about the assets of the earth, we want to consider natural and unnatural resources that we can actually gain through the money that we have. How can we grow the money? How can we exchange some of the money for assets so that we may have a great credit portfolio and as well a great financial portfolio? These are all questions that we really must consider if we are serious about taking our credit scores to an 850. An 850 is the highest credit score with the scoring system called MyFICO. MyFICO is Fair Isaacs Corporation, the one that originally created a credit score and that currently still holds the highest rating credit scoring system that exists out there. And when we think about MyFICO, we want to realize that MyFICO is also looking at these mindsets of the exchange and the trade and the leaders that led countries and what they considered to be good credit. What did they consider to be an asset? What did they consider to be something of value? So let's look around in today's society and let's think about more than just, I need more money and I need a high credit score. Let's think about the original process of thoughts from the leaders who are staring us in the face when we look down at $1, a $5 bill, a $10 bill, a $20 bill, or a $100 bill, or even a $1,000 bill. Yes, let's look at the $50 bill. Let's look at, if you're in the United States, let's look at the different types of currencies that exist in other countries. Let's look at who was leading this money once it finally got to a stage of being liquidated for assets. And let's think about our process. With our own credit, what can we buy as an asset? With our own credit, what can we exchange for more money so that our money will compound and that we won't have to borrow so much because we don't have that much? What can we do today to really simplify our cycle of money into credit and credit back into money or an asset or something of value that will last for a lifetime? That's all that I have for today. I hope that you enjoyed, and if you did, please make sure that you subscribe, you like, you share, you tell a friend, and also visit us on other social media websites and other social media sites such as KB Michelle Green on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Threads, all over, and especially YouTube. Go to our YouTube channel and check out our online TV. Check out our streaming services. Check out us everywhere at kb.michellegreen. And again, thank you for listening, and I hope that you've enjoyed.